Good morning, Minnesota DFLers, and welcome to the DFL Daily. Richard Carlbaum here, chair of the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party. So great to be with you each and every morning, Monday through Friday at 10:45 sharp, to give you the message, the action, and the tools to be empowered in this moment as we take one more concrete step toward winning big in the 2026 midterm elections this November. Okay, I'm very excited to have a special guest with us today. Secretary of State Steve Simon, our democracy champion, is with us. He got endorsed at our state convention. Welcome to the call, Secretary Simon. He's coming off mute and on camera here. So not only did he get endorsed at our state convention, but Secretary Simon also got the Joan Grow Award at the Humphrey Mondale dinner just this last Friday as well.
Right.
Secretary Simon, are you with us?
I am. Can you see me, hear me?
I can hear you. Do you want to
Okay.
come on camera?
Hold on. Here we
There
go.
you are.
All right.
Yep,
As you
perfectly
can see,
centered.
everybody, I am on the road to southeastern Minnesota to Waseca, Dodge County, going to Owatonna, and ending up in Rochester today. So excuse the seatbelt, but great to see you all. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being out there on the road meeting with local elections officials, I assume.
Yes, and some local nonprofits as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So at the state convention, you got endorsed late into the evening, and you had your daughter introduce you. Tell us a little bit
Yes.
about what that meant to you.
It was great. And thank you, Richard, for helping us make that happen. You know, it wouldn't be a DFL convention without a little procedural drama, but it was important. She was really excited about it. My daughter, Hannah, is 13, and she was really excited to do it. She practiced. And thank you to those who were at the convention for fitting us in as the last thing at the night because she couldn't have done it the next morning. Um, and, you know, it was just 90 seconds or 2 minutes, but it meant a lot. She's good, and though she was nervous, as you'd expect a 13-year-old to be. Afterwards, she turned to Leah and I, and she said, "That was fun." So, like many things in life that we all do, we're nervous beforehand, and then afterwards, we're really glad we did it. So that's a good lesson for her and anyone. But it was fun to have her do that.
I couldn't have imagined at 13 speaking to a room full of like 1,500
I
people.
know, right?
That is intense.
It was.
Recently, we've heard a little bit about vouching being in the news,
Yes.
and Republicans are really trying to create doubt in the minds of Minnesotans when it comes to this. For
Yeah.
folks listening today, can you just explain
Uh,
what vouching is and why Minnesota uses it, and also like how are we different from our neighbors like North Dakota, South
yeah.
Dakota, Wisconsin?
Oh, God. I could go on forever, but I won't, Richard. But here's the thing. We have had vouching since 1973. My opponent voted for it in the legislature when he was in the legislature. We've had it since 1973. And what it means is, well, just to level set, to register to vote, you got to show two things. You are who you say you are, and you live where you say you live. That's it. Vouching only pertains to the second one. So you could have someone vouch for where you live. They're never, ever vouching for anything else, your age, your citizenship, anything. It's still on the voter to prove the first one, that they are who they say they are. But the live where you say you live part is important because we have a lot of people who maybe have a driver's license, and it's a fresh, good driver's license, but it shows an old address. They haven't updated the address. Let me tell you a quick story, Richard. My own father, in a gubernatorial election a couple decades ago, had to use vouching because my parents moved from the house I grew up in Hopkins to a condo in another city. And they moved in like early October. So they didn't have a new anything yet. All the stuff was at the old address. So my father couldn't have voted in that race had he not gotten a neighbor to vouch for him, which means you sign an oath saying, yep, this guy really does live at 123 Maple Street. But it was still on my dad to prove with papers and otherwise the first part, his identity, that he was who he says he was. And to your point, Richard, what they're saying out there, some of them ignorantly, some of them they know what they're saying and they know they're spreading disinformation. They're saying, can you believe we have this vouching thing where anyone can just vouch for someone's voter eligibility off the street? You know, no questions asked, no ID, whatever. That is completely false. All they're vouching for is one of the two things, that the person really lives where they say they live. It's still on the voter to prove and show that they are who they say they are. So it's really bad faith. It's something we've had for years. You know, I'm old enough to remember only a few years ago, this was broadly bipartisan. When I was in the legislature, we were talking about like how to make it better. It was broadly bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats. And to your point, Richard, you're asking, well, what do other states do that don't have vouching? Let me give you the example of South Dakota. So the position of my dad, let's say, someone who goes in and says, hey, look, I can prove I am who I say I am with papers, with documents, but my driver's license still shows the place I was at a month ago when I moved. You know what they do in South Dakota? In South Dakota, the person in my dad's position just signs an affidavit, an oath saying, I swear, I promise, I really did move, and I really do now live at 123 Maple Street. So I ask all these critics on the right, which system do you think is most secure? A system like Minnesota's, where you have to literally drag a neighbor to the polling place and have them swear an oath, or one where the voter can just say, "No, I really, really super duper promise that that I did move." Right? I know what they would say. 100% of them, if they were asked that question, would say, "Well, of course, we want the situation where you have to take someone to the polling place." It's really unfortunate. It's garbage, but it's more of what we're going to see over the next 145 days.
Exactly. Secretary Simon, one of the things I hear a lot from Democrats are this anxiety people have, all those things. One of the things I've heard you talk about is how resilient our elections actually are because they're run by our neighbors. They're run locally, and they're not run, nationally. And so that's what makes them resilient. Talk a little bit about why that strengthens our ability to preserve democracy.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bottom up, not a top down system. It's highly decentralized, as many of you know from experience. We've got 3,000 polling places. We've got 30,000 election judges. That is a small army. We've got party balance requirements. It's totally open for a transparent process. And so that is our strength. That's not a weakness. That means it's really, really difficult, as many of you know from being on the front lines, for anyone to mess with the results, with our democracy. A lot of people would have to be in on the plot or the plan for it to make any sort of dent. So that's a system that served us really, really well in the past and is going to continue to serve us well. And it insulates the system from any one person, me or any future Secretary of State or any future governor, from having some sort of bad impact on the process. Super decentralized. That's the way we like it. That's the way we want it.
That's fantastic. And most often, the people counting the votes are literally your neighbors, people who've
Yeah,
been doing this work as volunteers, as workers for a
right.
long, long time.
Exactly right. Yeah, it's our friends and neighbors who are the election judges, who are the people on the absentee ballot boards, who are screening and filtering those for eligibility. It's everyday folks. And again, we have party balance requirements. No one political party, not ours, not any other, can put their thumb on the scale or have undue influence or even have a majority of any of these positions. And that's something that we've painstakingly, and I should say bipartisanly, built up over the decades. And it's one of the reasons that makes us a great state in terms of putting on good elections.
So, for all the folks on the call today, if there's one thing you'd want Minnesotans to tell their friends, neighbors, and family members about our elections, what would it be?
It would be that our elections are fundamentally fair, accurate, honest, and secure. I guess one of the, I don't know if I want to say benefits, but side effects of the last decade or so of election denialism and all the rest is the last few elections we've had have been the most watched, the most scrutinized, the most litigated in the history of the United States. I mean, so many eyes are watching, so many ears are listening. And that's fine. That's good. Come on in. The water's warm. Join us. Watch. Go to all the public hearings and the post-election audits and reviews. That's great. I hope the room is packed. But as a consequence of that thinking and that organized efforts to cast doubt on our democracy, there are more eyes and ears. And as we know, that vindicates the system in Minnesota and elsewhere. So I welcome it. Come on in. Bring your phones. Record it all. Come on into all the public meetings. That's great. The more transparency, the better.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for being with us today, Secretary Simon. Congratulations on the Joan Grow Award for
Thank
all of
you.
your work defending democracy, and good luck with your meetings today.
Thanks, everyone. Be well.
Have a great day. That was Secretary of State Steve Simon. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. He gave us something that is really important, the truth. So I'm sure most of you already follow him on social media. I ask that you share one thing you learned from Secretary Simon on social media today. Tag him. Let's make sure that we boost his message as far and wide as possible. Thanks so much for being here on the DFL Daily. We have 145 days until the November 3rd midterm election. Let's go win this thing.